Hello and welcome to Love at Lunch. Happy Monday. My name is Leona Devin. I'm a coach and facilitator from Calgary, Canada, and I am delighted to be here serving you up some ease and relief from the whys. And so I've been hearing it quite a bit in the last week, and I thought, we need to talk about this. So when things get tough, oftentimes we ask why. Why is this happening? And if you've ever raised a 2-year-old, learning the answers to why is important. Why can I not stick my head too close to the birthday cake? Well, your head could light on fire. Okay, probably here. And so those little basic pieces are really important as we are learning and growing. So there are times that why is important to ask and to be answered. But for the most part, when things are really tough, it's not a great place to be. We ask ourselves why, and oftentimes we get stuck there because our brain is a sense-making being. It sees a piece of a puzzle and it goes, what is the missing piece? How did this puzzle get here? What it is seeking is some relief. And when it finds a piece of that puzzle or a pattern, then we get a hit of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that feels like cocaine for our brain. So cocaine, not great to take as a street drug, but cocaine does light up our dopamine centers and it gives us a reward. So like a carrot for a bunny, that's what dopamine does. And so it is seeking to make sense, and it also wants that little reward, that hit of dopamine. But oftentimes it'll just have us digging a hole into why something is happening, and it does not serve us or our brains well. So for the most part, unless there is some learning like, why did I get into that car accident? Oops, I didn't see the stop sign. Then why can serve us. But otherwise, staying in the whys does not serve us. So we can ask ourselves 2 other questions that support us when we're stuck in the whys place. And I call this whys, W-I-S-E. So step from the whys into the whys. Just spell it differently. So you want to think what now and what next. So there might be something currently that you need to be giving yourself that would create some ease. And oftentimes we ask ourselves why when things are really tough. And so some of the ways that we can hack into the brain and its chemistry and provide ourselves with already some relief so our brain doesn't try to sort things out in a way that's ineffective is that number 1, recognize what you're feeling. We've talked about this before. One of the most important pieces of emotional intelligence is that we recognize the feeling we're feeling. And if the feeling is uncomfortable for us, we're going to stay stuck in that place more often than not. So what now? So the first part of what now is what am I feeling? And so we're just being present to what is, really important piece in resilience. Being present to what is, what am I feeling right now? I'm feeling disappointed or I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling ticked off. As soon as we recognize what the feeling is, the brain helps to sort out that feeling, whereas it normally is hanging out at the back of the head in our lizard reactive part of our brain. It sorts it out and you get a little hit of dopamine just for figuring that out. So yay for the dopamine. So number 1, what are you feeling? The next piece is, can you provide are you suffering? Like, do you need just some love? So, I mean, you could get that from somebody else, but if it's just you, how would you speak to a kid right now that was suffering? So, wow, this is really hard. Saying something with a kind tone and just acknowledging as a form of self-empathy, again, releases some oxytocin and endorphins and helps you to feel better. Remembering again, your brain cannot tell if that self-talk is coming from an outside source or an inside source. So already we are starting to feel better. The next part, I always tell people when they're really struggling is just ask yourself quickly, what is it I want and what is it I need? Maybe you want to walk, maybe you just need to get out in the sunshine, maybe you need a break, and give that to yourself. And then the next piece is, what do you want to believe about this situation? Sometimes when something as hard is happening, we need to stop and slow down our thoughts because you might be thinking, oh, crappy things always happen to me. Or, maybe this is my fault. I'm like, look, I got 4 brain tumors. If I was one of these people that thought, oh, clearly I brought this on myself with negative thoughts or, I don't know, toxic behaviors, I would not have gotten up this morning. What do I want to believe about what life holds for me? I believe that things happen. I believe that things can be meant to highlight what's important. I don't believe that things that happen to us are a lesson. That doesn't support what I really want to think about life. So think about what is it that you want to believe about tough things. Maybe, yeah, hard things happen, but I'm going to move through. I believe that I always have whatever I need, whatever is happening, and I remind myself of that often. And then, so instead of asking why, the first question you ask yourself is what now? So all these things that help us to stay present in the moment. And then the next piece is what's next. What's next may be enough. It does not mean that you have to solve the world's problems, but what is one step that you can take towards some kind of action? So you want to think, I can do this. So there's lots of stuff that can hold us back. And again, they're going to keep those wheels churning in our brain. We want to get our brain moving forward and to create some sort of plan. So you just want to think, what's the very next thing that I can do? If you're really suffering, you're not going to be able to create a big, strategy around whatever your big stressor is. So think, what is next? And then start to take that step. And if you've accomplished that step, yay you're going to get a little dopamine, your little hit in that reward center, which is again going to take that strategic part of your brain back online and allow you to take that next step. So that next piece then is, then you can think of, what is it that I'm learning? We are meaning-making machines. We long to integrate what is happening and what is tough, and we want to make wisdom out of that. And so that's why I say take the whys, W-H-Y-S, and turn them into wise, W-I-S-E. And so these are wise steps to move out of that why part where we feel very stuck, and then we can move into some more greater wisdom. So we are meaning-making machines. It's one of the things that brings contentment and joy to our life, to realize that it's not a waste of time. And so we want to think, what is it that I'm learning? Maybe you're learning something about yourself. Maybe you're learning something, if it's a medical situation, about the medical system and how you can, work alongside that. Maybe you're learning you're smarter than you thought you were. You're more resilient than you thought you were. So take time to think, what is it that I'm learning, so that you can create meaning. And then the last thing you want to be thinking of is, yes, this situation is tough. And if you can't get out of the why is this happening, what is it that I am grateful for in this moment? Gratitude, again, takes that hijacked limbic or lizard part of our brain that thinks, either we are safe or we're in danger. And usually when we are in a place that is having us ask why we are here is a place of suffering. And oftentimes our brains are really supporting that hijack. And so gratitude lights up another part of our brain that again allows us to create some ease. It releases some neurotransmitters that helps us feel better and reduce that grit that's in the brain, and helps us again think more strategically. So instead of asking why the next time something tough happens, ask yourself 2 questions. What now? Help yourself to get present and grounded in that moment. Feeling what you feel, be self-compassionate, ask yourself what you need and want. What do you want to believe about this situation? That the universe or God is not out to get you, that the universe or God is for you. Maybe you have a saying that supports that. And then what's next? So instead of why, what now, and what's next? Lots of love to you all. Thank you so much for joining Love at Lunch today. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a tremendous rest of your week. Lots of love to you all.